Hey folks, this is Rhykker with a video on newly released RPG Shadows Awakening, in which you get to play as the demon. If at any point you'd like to check out this game, I encourage you to use my referral link in the video description to be taken to the Steam page. Now, I consider Shadows Awakening to be a mixture of Diablo and Baldur's Gate, of action RPG and traditional RPG. And in this video, we'll show some clips of my playthrough of Chapter 1, we'll talk about the game, and we'll give my early impressions. Now, this is a sponsored video, but the contract says that I am allowed to criticize the game. Your father smells of elderberries. In all seriousness though, I've had viewers ask me to check out this game and I've been pleasantly surprised. But let's dive into looking at things. So again, the unique twist in this game is that you're the demon. So right here, at the start of the game, this mysterious figure summons us, the Devourer, a demon. And basically, here we are right now, looking pretty cool already. People have been asking in Diablo, wouldn't it be cool if you can play the demon? Character creation entails basically selecting which of these ancient heroes, of various degrees of ancientness, you're going to effectively possess. They call it taking a puppet. So right now I've taken the spellcaster. You have your three archetypes, the rogue, the spellcaster, and the warrior. And you see me swapping between demon form and human or mortal form. And in total, you'll be able to have at any given time, three characters in addition to your demon that you can control. You start off with one, it introduces them to you slowly, and each of these characters have their own abilities. As we're seeing here, the demon having Frost Chain, having Possession, and the mage here, in this case, starts off at least as a Fire and Sand Mage. Nice little twist, having the Sand Mage part of things. But my understanding is that now this is a single-player game, and depending on which of the three characters you select to begin with, the story will be different. So I think a playthrough is about 20 hours of gameplay, but if you go through all three storylines, you're talking about 60-plus hours, including the side content and everything. So right now here, we're in our mage form, and you'll notice that whenever we swap between demon form and mortal form, the world around us changes, just like that. And there are things that we can see in one form that we cannot see in another, including looting things, right? So to make sure you fully looted a room, make sure you've swapped between forms. This isn't something where you want to full clear a dungeon in one form and then change form and then full clear. You're very much encouraged and incentivized to be swapping forms rather rapidly. And part of the reason is, basically, every character has three abilities, or three abilities that they could have equipped at any given time. As you level up, you could unlock more abilities, but you can only have 3 on your hotbar. Now you can have a total of 4 characters, so that's a total of 12 skills, and so you're going to be swapping between your heroes, while different skills are on cooldown, so you're effectively controlling a party of 4 people, but one at a time. Now, enter the puzzles. Look right here. I'm trying to cross, but I can't. There are platforms that are revolving around, and when I go into spirit form, it freezes. This game's got some nice little puzzles, and some of them you get really quickly. I'll have to admit that some of them took me a moment or two to figure out, but I do like the puzzles that they include in this. Again, my playthrough so far has entailed Chapter 1. I don't know if you saw a little cut there, it's because I missed the first rotation. And now right now we're coming up on the first really interesting fight. Because I don't know if you noticed that when you swap to ghost form, mortal creatures freeze. And when you're in mortal form, you don't see the ghost creatures. This is the first fight where we fight something that exists in both realms, the Shadow Realm and the Mortal Realm. And I'm starting to realize, okay, this thing has a shield that could only be taken down by my demon form. It might take me a little bit to realize this, so I'm a little bit panicking what's going on right now. This is the first time, again, that I've faced an enemy that doesn't freeze in demon form, so you're seeing me work through the strategy. Now, I'm taking some damage here in the middle, so you can see traditional health bar and traditional mana bar, and in the middle is sort of the potions, which I try to be stingy with. Now my mage powers, I think I have 2 powers currently. My Q is sort of an Inferno Blast, and then my W, so it's sort of like It's a short-ranged fire spurt. Right here, this is the waypoint system, which you can only use in demon form. Nice little lore tidbits. The world is very intriguing. I found myself very engaged in the world and the story. It's really helped by the top quality voice acting. Gotta say, very impressed with the production value of this game. It doesn't seem like it's from a large developer, and yet excellent voice acting. You know, you tend to see kind of lower quality voice acting, at least from the characters that I've experienced so far. Right now we're making it into town. It's sort of a Chaldean or Lutgolain-esque town, but you visit multiple towns throughout the chapters. But it's just absolutely gorgeous, both from design and execution of the style. I think the game looks very good, and very good art style as well. Right now we are exploring the town, and what's interesting is, while in human form there are no enemies, there's kind of always these weird, evil spirits going around. Now just look how smooth those transitions are from spirit world to mortal world. I'm incessantly impressed by that. Now we're going here onto one of our first quests. We've skipped a whole lot of going around, talking to NPCs and stuff, but again, the game seems fully voiced. Every NPC so far that I've encountered has had full voice acting, full voice lines. This green thing here, if you stand close to it, and you can only see these in demon form, when you stand close to those, you and all of your puppets regenerate their health. And if ever any of your puppets die, you go there to resurrect them. If all of your puppets die, you lose. You lose. You gotta reload at your last save. Now we're getting a second puppet. Again, you can have a total of 4. However, you technically can have more, but you can only have... you have a total of 4 characters or 3 puppets selected. But you can have more than 3 puppets, only 3 selected at any given time, however. So, our new puppet here is a rogue type. I guess I'm sort of building my demon to be a tank, because I have my... I'm trying to fulfill the 3 archetypes of the tank, the rogue, and the mage. Now right here we got a little puzzle. I see there's a chest over there, and I'm like, there's gotta be some way to get to this chest. And so I realized, okay, we gotta move these little things. And I'm like, nope, didn't do that right. Did not do that right at all, and now I'm stuck in here. So little flub, but it's little puzzles like this. Sometimes they're more prevalent. Now this right here, this is I think my one criticism of the game, really. I don't have much negative to say. It's just sometimes movement is a little finicky. That's really my only criticism in this game. When you're trying to push objects, basically. So when the movement can get a little finicky when you're kind of moving around instead of pushing it, but it's not a huge deal. Now right here we're coming up on an example of what I believe, if I remember correctly, an example of really transitioning through my 3 characters to help me through the fight. Now again, part of the thing is, and I guess I never explained the first power of my demon, the Q freezes enemies, and it's really the only ability that the demon can use that affects mortal targets. Now I don't know if I'm going to pop it right here, but that's what I'll sometimes do. I'll pop into demon form and I'll freeze the mortal enemies, because that freeze continues on. There we go. Just froze, and I didn't really... I took too long to swap, but I'm summoning my sand golem to run some interference, and taking out the targets, and then popping into my rogue form to pepper them with some arrows. The mage's ranged attack is sort of medium range. The rogue can shoot from very far away. So every character definitely has their strengths, their opportunities to be used. Now there's something right there that you see. We're going to pick something up off the ground. Those are essence fragments. And you use those, you can only find those in your demon form, and you use those as sort of the game's crafting system. As you can see, there's a lot of lootables here. A lot of crates to destroy. I spent a lot of time doing that. So to me, that's very like traditional RPG. I mean, action RPG too, but as you can see right there, you gotta change form to overcome certain world obstacles. Another little big fight coming up here. Oh man, I was saying something, I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. We got another big-ish fight. It's not really a big fight, but we're going to be transitioning forms again here. I'm still learning right now. I'm not making most optimum use. If I had changed into demon form, they wouldn't have chased me. They would have stayed frozen down there. I could have regrouped. There's a lot of ways that you can sort of change into demon form, back away, create distance, and then go back to mortal form. and avoid a lot of hits, because you don't have automatic regenerating health, so... Now that ability, I love that ability of the rogue. He sets down a bomb wherever he's standing. It does a lot of damage. The thing is, you gotta lure an enemy into it, but that's one of my favorite abilities right now. It's such a great damaging power. Right now, I'm realizing, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. He comes close to me, go into demon form, but he was deflecting the attack. And sometimes they can full-on bounce the attack back at you. Some enemies have a shield ability where sometimes they can full-on deflect an arrow or a mage bolt back at you, and it hits you if you don't dodge it. Triple hit with the bomb. Well, I guess double hit with the bomb, but again, love the bomb ability. Right now, I'm just taking my time. It's a very tactical game. So, again, mixture of action RPG and traditional RPG. In a traditional RPG, you're controlling your full party, and you're making use of each of their powers, but it's generally turn-based in a traditional RPG. This is where the sort of blend of the action RPG comes in, where you gotta be doing this all in real time, so it's a little bit more frenetic. You gotta be quicker on your feet, you gotta be quicker with your reflexes. Thankfully, sometimes when you're in demon form, you have chance to catch a breather, but generally when it comes to boss fights, or the tougher fights, that's not the case, as you'll see soon enough. But right now, just kind of in demon form, I'm scouting out the area, I'm seeing, okay, there's gonna be some spiders there, let me kill these weak spirit creatures. Now I'm planning, okay, I'm gonna swap back to my my rogue, I don't know if he's a goblin or a hobgoblin or some kind of monstrous creature, and pop. I love that bomb. It's, it's like an 18-second cooldown, and you might think, well, that's a lot of cooldown powers. It is, but when you're gonna be running 4 different characters, cooldowns generally won't be a big issue, especially once you've started to pick the right powers. You know, there's some degree of experimentation and figuring out what powers do I want to have equipped, which skills do I want. Like, I have a totem skill that I leveled up, I put a point into, and I regretted it. I'm like, well, I'm not really making use of this. I used it a couple times, but it doesn't seem worth really using, and I eventually want to swap that out. But once you find the right synergy of skills to use, you're going to be pop, 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 swapping between your 4 characters, using up your abilities, and managing the cooldowns that way. So it's a very interesting system. I've never played something like that. I think it's sort, you know, in Diablo, we're really asking for, or a lot of people have been like, we want the druid, because I felt that shapeshifting in Diablo 3 is something that hasn't been done yet. This is sort of shapeshifting. This is, you are changing form, and this alternate form has a completely different skill set. Now, here's another little puzzle, which was really interesting. We're gonna, I think, skip ahead to me solving it, but it took me a little minute to solve this. You gotta be rotating. There's 3 separate rings that you can rotate, and every time you rotate one ring, it affects the ring adjacent to it. So, by clicking on the middle ring, you're rotating all 3. By rotating the top ring, you're rotating the outer 2, and by rotating the inner ring, you're rotating the inner 2. So, you gotta find the right combination of rotating counterclockwise, clockwise, until you can get them all to align properly, and then you're rewarded. I was rewarded with my first purple item. I don't remember the name. Now, right here's this is another instance where the pathing posed a little bit of a problem. Like, I wasn't quite able to dodge that fireball the way I wanted to, but again, overall, it's not a huge gripe of mine. You were finding more of that essence, and you'll notice that I tend to try to go into my demon form when I need to tank hits. The fireballs do transcend form. So we're coming back up here. We're still in this little area. Again, we're kind of jumping ahead. I played for, I don't know, about, let's say 3 hours. I was really fleshing, doing all the little side content, talking to the NPCs and stuff. So this is a very abridged version of what I experienced, but I want to hit on all the big points. Now, this is a scary guy. And what's really cool is, just like us, when we change from the Shadow Realm or the Demon Realm to the Mortal Realm, we change form. This guy also changes form. Like, so right now he's with his scary winged demon form, but if we transition into mortal form, well, hold on, was he different? I might be getting confused with someone else, but well, he changes color, basically. But there are other enemies that literally change as well. But so what I'm realizing here is, okay, in in demon form, the other guys are frozen, so I don't have to deal with the ads if I'm fighting him while I'm in demon form. However, he takes quite reduced damage, I feel, when I'm in demon form. But we still managed to finish him off. This wasn't a super easy fight, and overall, this is not an easy game. Yeah, this game, I wouldn't say it's super challenging. I mean, I played on normal difficulty. You can play on easy, or you can play on harder difficulties. And even on normal, this was not an easy game. I would say Diablo is a very easy game. This is definitely challenging. I died a couple times throughout my playthrough. And even when I didn't die, there were some fights that were really difficult. You know, in retrospect, it's like, okay, well, now that I've experienced the fight, I can think of different ways to deal with it. Real quick, though, this is the itemization system, so you don't have a traditional inventory like in Diablo. It's more like Skyrim, I guess, where you click on the category of weapon and it lists all your weapons, and in total you can carry 99 or however many items. So right now I'm leveling up my characters, so I'm going through. As you can see, we've equipped different things on our demon form, and of course there's some loot that only the demon can wear, there's some loot that only the other characters can wear, but there's other loot that can be shared, like a lot of the jewelry and stuff. Those sort of items tend to be shared. Talents. Every few levels you get a talent. Those are really cool. Some of them are, you know, on the demon form, one of them is gain more souls, one of them is have more stash space, but you also have like deal more damage to this type of creature, or take less of this type of damage, or just flat out gain 10 willpower. You also, like a lot of RPG fans love to do, you get to put in your stat points, strength, agility, endurance, and willpower. For my demon, I'm focusing mostly on strength, because again, I want him to be, well, I mean, he also started off with some endurance, but I want him to be the melee guy. For my mage, I'm going full on willpower. She started off with 18 agility, but I haven't touched it since then. Is this an optimal strategy? I don't know. Probably not, but maybe it is. To just pump a single stat. And then on my rogue, I'm going to be pumping agility. But I'm also here debating, okay, do I want to be buying new skills or saving up my skill points to level up skills that I have? So there's definitely decisions to be made. Again, when you level, you're getting 3 different things. Attribute points for strength, agility, endurance, willpower. You are getting skill points. There's no skill tree, but you could level up the skills that you have. I think there's 3 tiers of level up-age. And then again, there's the talents. Now, I'm going to show you the voice acting here.
Questions for you, hooded man.
I expected you sooner.
Thou art fortunate we came at all.
We? Already your captive soul changes you. It will be interesting to see how this develops.
Cut out your irritating asides, or I shall cut you to the gizzard.
Your understanding of human anatomy is flawed, but I take your point. My name is Krenz. Until recently, I was the High Sage of the Pentanira, the secret council behind the Inquisition, the most powerful institution in the heretic kingdoms.
But you chose to betray us!
Unfortunate timing. I can remedy this, but you must defend me for a moment.
So that's just an example of the quality voice acting that you can expect in this game. I can't quite speak to the other 2 main characters, but at least, our female is really, really good. Okay, now this fight right here, this was a tough fight. This is the first time that I wiped a couple times before I figured out. It took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure out what to do here. The trick to this fight is you can't do any damage, and this thing does crazy damage to you. I tried fighting in immortal form, in spirit form, doesn't work. You gotta be pushing it into this dude's magic circles. That's what you gotta do. That's the trick to this fight. So, again, this is a single-player RPG, and I feel because of that, it's able to do things that traditional action RPGs can't. I don't know if that's fair to say, but, like, there are fights that are not fair. There are fights that are absolutely not fair until you figure out the gimmick, for instance. Like in that one. Like, if you would not figure out that you gotta... I think it's literally impossible to do that fight. The enemy does way too much damage, and you do no damage to them. You gotta figure out the gimmick to the fight. But if you die, you simply, like, you restart where the fight began. So right here, there's kind of more example of me starting to learn how to transition between my different characters in order to fight optimally. And also, we got a little puzzle coming up here. As you can see, it's a boulder. Now, we're rolling over this boulder. As you can see on the mini-map, you might be able to guess where I'm rolling this boulder to. There's 3 exclamation marks, one on this closed door, one on this boulder, and one on another area, and we're going to see that it's actually a pressure plate. I'm having a little bit of trouble moving the boulder, but overall it went better than I expected. I was really concerned about it getting like stuck in a position that I wouldn't be able to move it anymore. That did not happen though. So there's the pressure plate. We're going to move it over and, you know, I think pretty safe assumption that it is going to open that door. So fun little puzzles in this game. That's something that, you know, you don't get in an action RPG. Another puzzle coming up in this room. I'm scouting out in spirit form, deal with the spirits that are there. That's what I like to do. I like to go into a new room in spirit form, scout it out, deal with the evil spirits or whatever, so that I know when I swap back into my spirit form in this room, it's going to be safe, because I've already cleared it. So, then I swap to the mortal form, and I start dealing with the creatures. I like to use my Mage, the Fire Blast as a heavy hitting power, and this is the next puzzle. So, it's going to be another rolling boulder, here it comes, and I gotta be pulling these levers to set out the path for it. This is a puzzle that I figured out pretty quickly. I started by pulling the lever and I just saw the ball roll and fall. And I'm like, okay. I gotta be pulling these levers in time with the ball rolling. So again, really, you know, fun puzzles to do. I guess it's kind of a spoiler here for you folks. I'm sorry about that. But this is just the first act. I'm sure things get a lot crazier. Now, we're coming up on a particularly difficult fight. This is the first time. Yeah, I think this is my most challenging fight so far. Not even I know. This was my most challenging. I can make a declarative statement. This was my most challenging fight so far. So, I'm kind of realizing, well, damn, this guy is wailing on me in spirit form, and I'm doing no damage. This is the guy that looks different. So, in mortal form, he's this, like, creepy undead thing, and in demon form, he is, like, a kind of a traditional demon. Or you know, devil-type creature. But we gotta deal with the ads. We gotta deal with this guy who doesn't pause when I'm in demon form, and eventually I'm gonna realize that there's something that I'm doing here that is not helping me out. But I'm trying to decide, okay, I'm gonna kill the ads first. And, sorry, in case you're not familiar, when I'm talking about ads, I mean the additional monsters, beyond the main, I guess, boss here. He's not a boss. Just wait. You just wait until we get to the Act 1, the Chapter 1 boss here. Luckily, this guy telegraphs his attacks. If there's one thing I can say about this game is that it is not unfair, in the sense that I haven't, like, I'd say sometimes games have really, like, BS mechanics, where it's like, oh, that's BS. I don't think, at least I haven't experienced any of that yet. There's difficult things, but fairly difficult. Where it's like, yeah, I guess I could have figured that out, or I could reasonably figure that out. So again, here, you got these telegraphed attacks, you can be dodging them. The arrows that are being shot by these guys, you can be dodging them. In fact, you can, like, pop into spirit form real quick to, like, reposition so that you're not hit by the arrow, for instance. However, this dude heals when we go into spirit form. Look at that, look how fast he's healing! And this is the first time I realized, oh god. What have I done? What have I done? I've allowed him, and yeah, I think now I'm confirming. Is he healing? Is he healing? Yep, he's healing. Welp. So, do I deal with the ads, or do I just alpha him down? That's the question. And it makes you think, right? Now, I have to admit, I am not playing this game to any expert degree. I am certain that if you're really good at this game, you're probably cringing at how poorly I'm doing. But again, this is my first playthrough. This is me figuring out the game. This is not something straightforward like Diablo 3. Again, very simple, very easy game. You can just face tank your way through things. And I would not say that you can quite do that. Maybe on easy mode, I don't know. I haven't played easy, but I'm not going to say this is the most challenging game, but if you go into it without thinking, if you go into it with the mentality of I'm just going to beat everything with my stick, and you're going to have a bad time. So, it's tactical, it's challenging, and so here's another little trap. This is, you know, you pull the lever and then you kind of just walk through. It needs a bit of patience. So again, this isn't a super fast-paced game, like an action RPG, but it's also not super slow. It's faster-paced than a traditional RPG, like, I keep saying Baldur's Gate, but I suppose the more modern example of, I suppose the best modern, you know, RPG would be, Divinity Original Sin 2. And in case you thought fighting one of those guys was tough, here's two of them. This time, however, we have learned, and we're going to apply our knowledge. We're not going to spend so much time in spirit form to let these guys regenerate. We're going to tackle this fight mostly in mortal form here. We're starting to learn how long it takes for the lightning bolt to come down, so we're going to take that extra moment, lingering in it, to get our attack off. And as you can see here, this is going much differently than the other fights. A lot better. Again, I've not jumped into that spirit form, I'm just pure on, using my abilities. I'm not panicking as much, because that's the other thing, right? Panic makes you the dumb. It makes your brain the dumb. So, I'm going into this fight with a little bit more calmness, a little more tactic, a little more, I'm being a little bit more methodical, and I'm not panicking. So, this fight's going a lot better. Obviously, it's still not, you know, easy peasy. I'm not killing this in 2 seconds. But one thing we haven't really spoken about is the loot drops. The loot drops, I feel, are more in line with an action RPG, and I say that in a positive way. I feel like in, you know, traditional RPGs, the loot's, I mean, I don't know if that's fair to say, but you get a lot more, like, useless loot, and, maybe loot's a little bit more scarce, but I feel like the loot drops are about on par with regular action RPGs. In that you get a good number of drops. I don't know if you saw right there at the end, the plink plink reflection. Now, what do we see right there? In spirit form, some of those tiles were illuminated. This is another puzzle. If you walk exactly on the illuminated tiles, you get to the end, and you're able to retract those spikes. That'll let you go to the treasure chest. If you step on any other tile, then there's fire everywhere. It's just fire. It's just, everything's on fire. So it took me, I figured that out, you know, not immediately, but you know, I crossed the first time, like, why is everything on fire? But that was a nice little puzzle. Okay, now here's the boss fight. This is the boss of Act 1, of Chapter 1 of this game. We're going to show this fight in its entirety. Now compare this to the boss, the Act 1 boss of any action RPG. This is what I mean when I'm saying this game is difficult. So, he's teleporting around. He is shooting homing missiles at you. He is shooting waves of fire. There are so many things to dodge. And I don't believe I'm under-leveled for the content either. I think I'm exactly on par with the level that I should be. I don't know if my gear maybe isn't quite as good as it should be, or my tactics are probably suboptimal. But here come those homing fireballs, which you gotta have the right maneuvers to dodge them. You know, they're homing, but they have an angle, they turn at a certain angle. And if, see right there, I tanked 3 of them, because I didn't have the right positioning to dodge them all. You gotta have the right positioning to dodge all those things. Dodge the fireballs, dodge the wave of fire, and attack this guy all at the same time. And he's resisting things. So, it's a lot of stuff. There we go, face tanked a bunch of stuff. Used one of my potions. I got 8 potions in total. Bam, used one of them. In the meantime, I'm taking pot shots, so again, my rogue is the only one that has the range to tackle these guys. He also has faster move speed than my other characters. Often I popped my rogue simply for the move speed so that I can dodge things faster. But like, I'm forced to basic attack here. And this is my first time tackling the boss, so I'm figuring things out as I'm going along. There's the panic setting in. Okay, we got him down to half health, here comes phase 2. Okay, here's the ad. Here's another boss. Okay, this guy freezes. Alright. Laying down my bomb. Oh, great. Oh, you're still throwing homing missiles. Okay. Oh, and you rolled around. So now I gotta dodge roly-poly-oly here. Oh, and more summons. And these guys move while we're in demon form. Okay, so dodge the roly-poly guy, dodge the spirit dudes, dodge the fireballs. Oh, and he's shooting regular attacks at me too. So dodge a million things at the same time. This is the first boss of the game. This is the first boss of the game. So compare that to the butcher fight of Diablo 3, right? That's the Act 1 boss of Diablo 3. It's a one-phase fight, and you just gotta telegraph the butcher's attacks, really. And then you can basically just face tank him as well. You cannot face tank this. You gotta dodge. There goes my second potion. So, and here are the spirit ads again. Laying down... No, see, I wasn't paying attention. I was laying down my bomb, and I face tanked some more fireballs. Now, you're probably cringing at all the bad moves that I'm pulling off here. But again, this is my first time doing the fight. I'm panicked. I'm trying to figure out... I'm trying to do damage to the enemy because I'm like, oh, if I spend all of my time just dodging, I'm not doing any damage myself. So I'm trying to move in to this guy so that I can lay down a bomb, right? But then this guy's a melee attacker too, so like I don't want to linger too, close to him for too long. Still have 6 potions though, thankfully, but this guy's still going. This giant melee dude. These things I still gotta dodge. I'm not doing the best job doing that. And, ow! That hurt a lot. I think I just used 2 quick potions right there. I'm down to 4 potions now. 4 potions. This guy is still on, well, I guess he's below half health. I froze him now, but it's too late. So the idea is, okay, freeze him, go to rogue, lay the bomb, withdraw, boom. But I'm too busy dodging things that I don't have time to quite maneuver that properly. And then I think this guy's immune to piercing damage, or resistant to piercing damage. Let's see. Yeah, pierce resistance. And piercing damage is what my rogue does, right? So I gotta be swapping ideally to my mage to do fire damage to this guy, I'm realizing. So now I'm just trying to, okay, I just want to finish him. I just want to finish him. Okay, thank God that's done. Oh, you're back. Oh, you're back. Okay. I got 4 healing potions left. And this guy's resistant to fire, which I haven't realized yet. Oh, and now he does different things. Oh, and now lasers. First boss of the game. Now he's got lasers. And fireballs. Lasers and fireballs. And I'm just running into the fireballs, because I don't know what I'm doing, apparently. Another potion. Down to 3 potions right now. And he's shooting things at me. Fireballs that float around in circles, getting in an expanding circle, and lasers, and shooting at me, all at the same time. So I gotta be going through the laser grid, peppering this guy with shots, while not on my mage, because my mage does no damage, because this guy is fire, and my demon doesn't do anything, so my rogue is my only option here right now. Now, I have 3 attacks on my rogue. I have multi-shot, that's not gonna help me against a single target, so I'm basically relying... Oh, 5 lasers now. 5 lasers. Because why not? Because 4 lasers isn't enough. First boss of the game. To clarify, I'm not complaining. This is a challenge. Again, it's not ridiculously difficult. Again, I didn't die. Spoiler, sorry guys. I beat this guy on my first attempt, but... Ow! Nearly died there. I'm down to 1 healing potion right now, because I goofed. I ran into the laser. Don't run into the laser. But, yeah, this was a challenging fight. There's no doubt about it. And I'm positive if I had just tried to face tank everything, I would have died like that. Used up my last potion, took him down, and finally, wow. That was an epic Act 1 boss. Chapter 1, sorry. And your reward is you get your 4th spirit, your 3rd puppet, rather. So you now have 4 characters, and it's not the laser beam dude, that would be great, but no, it's the ad. It's the monster zombie brute guy. Wow. So, I mean, that's gonna wrap up this playthrough video of Act 1. I'm excited to see where this game goes. I'm impressed with what I've seen so far. The world, I'm engaged by the storyline, greatly aided by the voice acting. The world is interesting. The unique twists of being able to control different characters and being a demon are interesting. I suspect there might be some kind of morality system. I at some point had a choice to make that was like, should I be greedy? Should I be average? Or should I be completely selfless? And we've seen indications that the demon is starting to get affected by its puppets. So if your puppet is like, I suspect if your puppet's being very altruistic, the demon might become a kinder demon. I'll have to see. Again, the campaign's supposed to be about 20 hours to go through, and I definitely experienced things that were definitely unique to the character choice that I made. So I'm positive that if I were to play this again on one of the other two characters, that there would be differences. Obviously, there'd be a lot of similarities, but I think there are different plot threads that could happen depending on what character you pick. So, yeah. Shadows Awakening, folks. Again, if you want to check it out yourself, please use my referral link in the video description. That's going to wrap up this video. And thank you, folks, for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please share it and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more gaming content.